Hey friends, it is time to review Origins First Builders, which is published by Board and Dice. Now in this game, you are doing a bunch of city building, dice placement, you have different combinations of multiple actions, you have a military track, you have temple tracks, all of this to help you become the greatest leader in history. So we're going to do a brief overview of how to play, and then we'll give you our thoughts. In Origins First Builders, you are an Archon guiding a population of freemen, influencing the construction of buildings and monuments, climbing 3 zodiac temples, and taking part in an arms race, all in an effort to leave the greatest mark on mankind's ancient history. So we're going to do a brief overview of how to play. So this game is set up for 3 players, and up here we got some district cards, we have the plastic motherships, as well as the bonus tiles, tower discs, we have tons of different resources. Then you have a bunch of building tiles over here, you have dice in the middle, you have the 3 zodiac temple tracks, and you have military ring here. You have more dice over to the side, and each player has their own player board, their Archon, population bases, and they start with 2 freemen. These are freemen right here. Then also a couple tiles to start with as well. Origins is played over a number of rounds until the game-ended conditions are triggered. On your turn, you're going to perform one of these following actions. You're going to visit an encounter site, close a district, build a tower level, grow your population, or pass. The first action of visiting an encounter site involves this area of the board. So each player starts the game with 2 freemen. A freeman consists of a population base and the dice together. All right, so you can go on these spots here. Now, in order to not have to pay anything extra, you have to have the value of the die equal to or greater than the value of what's on this mothership. So for instance, this is starting at 1. We have 5. We clearly have more, so we don't have to pay anything. If, for instance, this was a 6, then we are less than 1, so we have to pay the difference in wisdom for each one that you're short of. If you choose to use your Archon, you can put them anywhere. However, when you do this, you can disregard the value, so it doesn't cost you anything. Once you place your freeman or Archon, then you're going to increase the dial by 1, thus making it more expensive on future turns. So for each of these sites here, there are 2 different actions associated with it. So whenever you go to a spot, you choose one of these main actions, and if the color of the die matches this area, then you can also do the bonus action. However, if you place a die that has a value of 6, then you can take both of the actions, and then depending on if the color matches, then you can also take that. Now let's go over what some of these actions entail, starting with the military, which is down at this section of the board. Alright, so what you can do is whenever you get military action, you can move up on the track. Whenever you cross this, you get this tile. In the future, if you're like at a place like this, you can make an attack if you take the attack action, which allows you to do this benefit here and possibly get some points. Another main action is purchasing a building here. So you have wisdom cost here and then stone cost. So if I wanted this one, I have to pay 1 wisdom, 2 stone. So let's take that, and then you're going to add it to your city, and it has to be added in this orientation, so eventually you'll have this gap in the middle. Then you can optionally resolve the building ability. Another main action is to advance on a temple track. You can pay a stone to move up 2 spots on a temple track, and then you will immediately take the zodiac card, which gives you a special ability. Another main action is to gain a citizen dice by paying the cost underneath, and then you can take the die and put it in one of your population bases. However, you have to have a free and open up population base in order to take a citizen die, and you place it inside. So we just went over this first option here, visiting an encounter site, which itself has a lot of main actions. Now let's move on to closing a district. So to close a district, you have to grab a freeman from your play area, and then it would be put in the middle here. And then you can activate buildings if it's adjacent to that freeman that was just placed and matches the color. So for instance, we could activate all of those buildings. Now there's also a way to fulfill some of these district cards if you match the pattern, which in this case this does with purple, red, red, and whatever you want there. And so if this was the first person to do that, they would get 12 points. The next action you can do on your turn is building a tower level on your palace. So if we wanted to build a tower level, it would cost gold depending on the height that it was, and you get it from the upper left-hand corner in these tower spots. Another action you can do on your turn is building a population base, and the cost is listed up top top there. And this opens up another spot for you to create a Freeman. And if you pass on your turn, you're going to take all of your Freeman back and your Archon. And then for the Freeman, you're actually going to increase the pip by 1 value. And if it happens to be a 6, then it will instead become an advisor, which goes on the bottom of your board. And then you get points in the game depending on how many of those you fill up. Once everyone has passed, then it's the end of the round. And at the end of the round, you got some cleanup steps to do. And if at the end of the round the game has been triggered, then you're gonna total up everyone's final score. For final scoring, every player receives points for leftover gold you may have. You also receive points for the rightmost value of the citizen or the advisor you have on your board. Then also the combination of the 2 lower temple tracks, so you ignore the highest one that you might have. And then for each citizen die in a seat of power, which is the closed district, you're gonna multiply that value times the height of that matching color tower in the palace. So for instance, this is a 5, height of 2, so that would be worth 10. And whoever has the most points at the end of the game is the winner. And it's thoughts time. So let me be very clear. I have very high expectations for board and dice games because I tend to love them. For instance, Tekhenu is like one of my top games. Love that game. A lot of the games that come out with, Mandala Stones, you really like that one? A lot of their games I really enjoy. So when I saw this announced, when I saw this cover, I was like, oh my goodness, I am so excited. You got this little, kind of like space alien theme, dice placement. I was sold. I was so excited to try this. So I had humongous expectations.
So what do you think
With
now?
that said, I'm a little disappointed, guys. I'm a little disappointed. I'm kind of sad because I wanted to like this more than I did. So here's the thing. It's not a bad game. It has decent mechanisms. Nothing's terrible. And that's the thing. It's just okay. Like it's not one of those, oh my gosh, amazing games like I had that expectation of. So so that's my overall gist of the game. What is your feeling about this game?
I feel pretty much the same way. It was just that, I didn't have any expectations.
Yeah.
I had no expectations going into it. She just, she had a lot of expectations. I was just like, all right, let's play. And so when we played, I sat down and we started to play, and it was just like, okay. While we were playing and at the end of the game, I just thought about it and I was just like, nothing here is standing out to me as like, yes, this is a great game. Now, again, I would feel the same way that you did, that it wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's a fine game. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just I'm a little disappointed and let down because I thought it was going to be much better than it was. So there's a lot of different mechanisms. You have your tile placement where you're trying to create your district. You have the dice placement where you're taking the actions. You have these tracks. You have different things going on, but none of it felt super exciting. It all felt kind of generic. Now, I will say, the one thing I actually really did enjoy about this game, I really did like the dice placement section where you have the dials. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the part of figuring out where to place my dice and, which number die and which color die, because, if you have the matching color, you can get a bonus action. If you have a 6, you can take extra actions. And so I enjoyed that part, and I enjoyed, rotating the dial, which, increases the cost, if you, place lower value dice there. I really enjoyed that part of the game, but everything else just was a little not memorable. Nothing really stood out to me.
Yeah, for me, it was, like you said, nothing was memorable to me about this game. Not the look of the game, not necessarily like the mechanisms, and just nothing really was like, yeah, I want to play this over and over again. And I certainly did not have that feeling when we were done.
And another thing that didn't help is that I had a hard time with the theme integration. I felt like there was not much theme in the game, which is okay, because I don't mind Euro games, But honestly, like, I had a hard time even figuring out what the theme was. It was just kind of, I just had a hard time with the theme and this game and tying everything together. I enjoyed the dice placement part. Now, the part I didn't enjoy the most was probably the building tiles. It didn't feel like I was having fun building out my city, trying to get, the patterns for those objectives, trying to create a district. And you activate the building abilities, when you buy it, and then when you, I think, do the district. I don't know, it wasn't fun, the building part. So, and then that's a big part of the game. So
I just couldn't get any of the building stuff going, and that part of it for me was, it kind of comes back to a pretty common theme for me, was that if there's a few different options out there, I have a hard time managing that. And so for me, trying to manage and figure out, wait, I want to do this, but I want to do that, but how do I make this work with that? And I just couldn't figure it out. I couldn't get anything going, and it just felt like I was just kind of, oh, I guess I got to do this turn. Oh, I guess I got to do this turn.
Yeah,
And I just never really felt like I could get anything going and manage it all together.
And I think what helps you with those types of games, because you do like some of those types of games, what helps you with those types of games is like a nice look, a cool theme, and this doesn't quite have that to help you pull you past some of that stuff,
It's gotta at least draw me in visually for me to get into the multiple mechanism kind of thing, or yeah, like you said, some sort of theme. But like you said, the theme here was like, wait, this is supposed to be like kind of in space, and people are building a city in space. I just didn't get that at all.
Now, okay, so I had low expectations that you would like this game. I didn't think you would like this game. This isn't really up your alley.
Well, you nailed it.
But I've been surprised at some of the games you've liked. So I had a feeling you weren't going to be a huge fan of this game. But I'm just surprised, guys, because I love board and dice games, and I was so excited about this game. I was like amped up about this game, and I'm just sad because it's not quite what I was hoping for. But that's our opinions. Some people might love this game. That's great. I hope people love this game. And, if it looks like one you might be interested in, give it a try, because everyone has different tastes and different opinions. So, but that is our thoughts. Yeah. So that is our review of Origins First Builders. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Yeah. Wave to the camera.
Smile for the camera.
Say hi, everybody. Oh, look at her. She's so happy. I don't want to make her stop. Oh my goodness. You want to be on camera?
You're gonna lay right in the front.
She would.
You're gonna lay right in the front.
On top of our
notes.
notes.
Right on the notes. Good.
And she likes to shred paper, so she's gonna start shredding.
Don't do that.